Hey guys, how's it? Oh, wait, hold on. I'm not in frame. Sorry guys, hold on. Let me just fix my hair real quick. It's just so much of it. Wait, where'd it go? Yes, guys, I got my head shaved. I almost said hair shaved. Well, I guess hair shaved makes sense too. But yes, I didn't go full Adam Wickens, but it is down quite a lot. I got one on the side and two on the top. I think it looks pretty good. I was really worried my head would be lumpy. I don't really think it's that lumpy though. And I got a nice hat per recommendation from Kenan over at Camp Kenan. I talked to him about where he gets his hat because I burn easy and I never had my hair this short, so I was kind of worried about it. Got a nice hat though. I'm not gonna wear it on camera, but I do wear it out and about. Anyway guys, so the video we were supposed to be talking about today is the 5 things you should know before getting an Ackie monitor. Now when coming up with this list, I really wanted to think about 5 unique things that aren't really discussed but very important for new owners, new keepers of Ackie monitors, and things I really haven't covered too much in my past Ackie monitor videos. And I think I came up with a good list, so let me know if this list is helpful, if this list is different than things I talked about before, and if this list is helpful for you as a new Ackie owner if you're thinking about getting one or just got one. So let's start off with the top one. I hear this one a lot because they are monitor lizards, and monitor lizards have quite a reputation for their nails and their bite. Now, being dwarf monitors, obviously this is not going to be as severe as the bigger monitor lizards out there. I've had Ackies for about 3 years now, I believe, and I've got bitten probably 4 times, maybe 3, which, you know, I think that's a pretty low number. And all those times obviously being my fault, going too close to a roach or something, interfering with their eating, you know, something stupid that I did. And to address the elephant in the room, their bites are really not that bad. Now, I would not go getting bit by them. It's not fun, really. I would not do it on purpose. There's no reason to do it. But it is really not too painful. There was at least 1 bite, probably 2 bites I remember quite well that were pretty good. The specific one, the number 1, is from Asus, where he thought my finger was a cricket. After I threw in some crickets, I moved my finger really fast and he really went after it and grabbed it. It throbbed pretty good, and usually every time they get me, I bleed pretty good, but within an hour or so, I barely noticed that it even happened, and there really is relatively no pain even 2 seconds after they bite me. Now, the real killer, at least for me, is their nails. Their nails are so pointy. It doesn't exactly hurt when they're on you, not that it feels good. It's kind of a weird feeling, but when they're done, you get so itchy. If you ever got that back test or that allergy test on your back where they inject some of an allergen into you and it itches really bad, that's what it feels like. Maybe it's just allergies that I have, and maybe that's not applicable to everyone, but they have such fine-grained pointy nails that it just makes it so itchy, and it almost looks like a rash is there sometimes after I hold them. I much rather personally take a bite from them any day than deal with these nails, because you deal with these nails much more than a bite. Bites are very infrequent, where if you hold an Ackie, you're going to be dealing with the nails. And their nails are not that bad when they're younger. I would say I really haven't been irritated too much by the nails until the age of 1.5 years, maybe 2 for an Ackie. In conclusion though, bites, nails, very tolerable compared to a lot of reptiles out there. Nothing like the larger monitor lizards. You should be golden, and it should be not a reason you don't want to get an Ackie. You should not be afraid of that. They'll probably never bite you as long as you approach them smartly. Before continuing on with the video, I'd appreciate it if you are a new viewer or unsubscribed. Make sure to hit that subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. Hit the bell as well for the latest updates on the channel. I really appreciate it. Now, number 2 is actually one I talked about quite a bit, but I think this is important in a things you should know before getting an Ackie video, because everybody wants to cohab right away. And while I have changed my stance, altered my stance to be more pro cohabbing, and that being a possibility, I definitely don't think a newcomer should immediately go and cohab. There's a lot of behavior you need to learn about, things you need to see your Ackie do so you know when they're upset, when they're irritated. You should always have an appropriately sized adult enclosure on standby if you're cohabbing. That's very important, because even if you had 2 Ackies together for years, they could still go at each other, and it could get deadly very fast. When 2 of my Ackies were babies, I had them cohabbed, and one bit the other one's finger off, and that really scarred me for a while. I'm much more adept at understanding Ackie language and communication now, so I feel a little bit better, but that was definitely a novice mistake on my part. To quickly illustrate, when I was a novice, I could really not tell anything about what my Ackie was thinking or my Ackies were thinking, their behaviors, their actions. I couldn't decipher that code. Now, after 3 years of experience, obviously a little bit before this, it didn't take me all 3 years to know a lot of this stuff, but I can tell when one of my Ackies are upset just by their tail movement. I know when I might need to separate one from the other just by little actions before things get worse. So that way I can really identify when I need to put space between them and put the necessary precautions in place to make sure they're safe and happy. With more experience also, you stop overthinking every little action as well. Sometimes I get in tiffs and it's really not a fight by our understanding. They sometimes just get into little things and they assert dominance, and that's completely normal, and they can nip and bite each other and it not be in an aggressive demeanor or actually trying to inflict damage. Sometimes little nips are warning nips, like get out of my space. There's a couple sides of the coin you need to understand to really know what's going on in there and when it's an actual event that you should be worried about. So if you're asking, should I start with 2 Ackies or 1? Start with 1, please. Learn their behavior a little bit. You can add another one to the enclosure later on. It's not impossible. I've done it. I know many other keepers who've done it. It's more important you learn their body language and their communication skills prior to introducing another one of their species. Moving on to number 3. Number 3 piggybacks off of 2, like I said, as a reason to not cohab, and that's sexing. It's really hard to sex an Ackie at a young age. Really, you want to wait until minimum of 6 months to start being able to get a confident sexing, I don't know the term for that, but of the reptile or of the Ackie. 8 months is actually preferred. This is by vets themselves. Now, a keen eye, someone who's dealt with Ackies a lot, maybe a breeder of them and such, they could start picking up on keys to whether it's a male or female at 4 or 5 months. Now, that is still obviously a guess, and then probably around 6 months you could start firmly identifying a little bit which is a male and which is a female. These are not foolproof though. There are multiple ways people sex Ackies, and there are many times I've seen people miss-sexing their Ackies. I'm like really weird using terminology today. But how this adds into the cohabbing thing is if you go ahead, you're getting into Ackies and you want to get 2 babies because it's said to be more successful to bring 2 babies from the same clutch together, cohab them, and that be more successful. That's what is commonly said, although I really haven't seen that firsthand, but I'm not gonna argue that right now. But the difficulty there is you don't know the sex of the individual Ackies, and if you put 2 males together, that's not gonna go well. And you just don't know what you're getting, and that's very important when it comes to properly cohabbing this species. So that adds on to why you shouldn't cohab right away without prior knowledge, having a standby enclosure, knowing what you need to be able to successfully do this, and making the necessary precautions just in case something goes down. So do understand before getting your baby Ackie, even if the breeder says that they could confidently give you a sex on it, if it's under 6 months, I would not take that with more than a grain of salt. Not that the breeder could be knowledgeable, I don't know, I'm not knocking the breeder, but you just got to be very precautious, and you really can't tell at that point. Definitely could be the opposite sex that you were told. Number 4, I've kind of briefly mentioned this, but really not too much, and I really want to drive the point home here. It is completely normal for a newborn baby, a baby Ackie, all the way up to a year, even over a year, to be scared, hide a lot, not want to be around you, freak out whenever you get a little too close. That is normal. They are so dramatic as babies. It is so common. You are doing nothing wrong. Trust me. This comes with additional concerns as well. Obviously, if they're going to be hiding much more and be more skittish, they're not going to be out and about eating in front of you and basking in front of you. So you might get worried they're not eating, they're not basking. They will eat, they will bask, they will do everything they need to do as long as they're healthy. Obviously, you want to keep track of things as best as you can. If you see their poop, what they left behind, check it out. Does their urate look good and white? Does their poop look formed and not odd? things like that you should take a look at when you see them. Anything you can use to take a clue as to the health of your reptile. And if they really don't come out and bask, you really never see them eat, maybe bring them to a reputable exotic vet just to be safe if you can afford it. But usually everything's fine. Ackies are usually pretty healthy. When people complain about not eating or hiding too much, not basking, they're usually just fine for the most part. The fifth consideration is their diet, and this is more than just them having a primarily insect-based diet. What I really want to talk about with this is that insects, what they eat, make up a good amount of the percentage of water they drink. You should include a water bowl, but it's not super important. It's not like it's a tropical species. They don't get their main water source from a water bowl. So what I do is I actually have a pretty large water bowl. It's very deceiving, but it's pretty large. But I do that because the walls, since they're so high, they keep the dirt that the Ackies track out of, because I like to keep a very shallow line there. This helps out in so many areas. I've cut down the amount of times I need to wash and clean the bowls because it's so shallow and evaporates very quickly. I refill it every day after it evaporates. It's a lot less disgusting things getting in there, algae, I don't know what you want to call it, but that doesn't happen nearly as much as it used to when I really filled up the bowls. I just put in a very shallow amount, and they will drink it. They know it's there. They have very little tongues. They can go down and drink it. I've seen them do it multiple times. It works really well. High walls keeps them from tracking in dirt into the low, shallow water, which if they do, it could get dirty really quickly, so that's why it's important to try to keep the dirt out. And then it evaporates pretty quick, so it doesn't sit there. Water sitting is where bacteria grows and such, so that's where you want to be concerned. And if that water moves and evaporates, and then you fill it with new water, maybe you pat it down with a paper towel to pick up some of that algae, that bacteria that was there. That would help too. And then you don't have to wash it nearly as often. Okay, so I'm getting bit by bugs. I see lightning in the distance, so I'm gonna wrap this up. But let me know if this was helpful, if this was different than other Ackie related content I had in the past. If this is helpful for you new owners, let me know, because that's what this is supposed to be about. I don't know if you just heard that thunder. Before wrapping up though, quick shout out to the Patreon: Smooth Cat, Angela L, David T, Herb M, and Houston H. Thank you so much for supporting the Patreon. You guys too can support the Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Check the top right for more information. Remember guys, any merch sales for I believe the next week, maybe week and a half, are being donated to US Arc Florida to support their lawsuit against SB 1414, and I am matching all the way up to $100 worth of sales, so check that out. That'll be in the Teespring. There's 4 different designs that are really cool and unique. I definitely recommend checking them out. Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on Friday with another video.